So we're back for a second session of Dear for Wednesday, March 25th. Maverick and Star were just having a very pivotal conversation, talking about Star's continued trauma after being around the police and comparing gangs to a fantasy book when they were talking about the Harry Potter films or the Harry Potter books. Maverick seems to think that there were disputes between groups like the King Lords and the Garden Disciples that are very similar to the characters in The Hate You Give. They also revisit The Hate You Give, like Thug, and talks again about how hip hop is presented as an important tool for education, not just education, but empowerment. Star's understanding of thug life has grown, as we can see. She's starting to connect the words of Tupac to her own neighborhood struggles and the police brutality that's happening around her. So ultimately, this little section that we just read, it covers what's called the thesis of the novel. And the thesis is that underlying message, sort of like the theme, but it's the overall focus of the novel. And as we know, that's the entire economic and justice system is primed to keep minorities entrenched in the issues that tear their communities apart. So trying to keep the repressed repressed. The book is trying to say that the system needs to be reshaped in order for minorities to thrive. So we'll continue looking at how the minorities will continue to thrive and how Star will continue to shine her light. She's just realizing that she needs to speak up. As we know, her voice is her most powerful weapon. So today could be the day that she decides to use it. You got all these people pushing big flatbeds around, and them things are hard to push as it is. And you gotta maneuver it while it's stacked with stuff. By the time we leave, I feel like Black Jesus snatched me from the depths of hell. Daddy goes, gets me the ice cream though. And I'm just gonna pause for a second, guys. I apologize, I needed to start the timer. Buying the stuff is only the first step. We unload it at the store, put it on the shelves, and we scratch that. I put price stickers on all those bags of chips, cookies, and candies. I should have thought about that before I agreed to hang out with Daddy. While I do the hard work, he pays bills in his office. I'm putting stickers on the hot fries when somebody knocks on the front door. We're closed, I yell without looking. We have a sign. Can't they read? Obviously not. They knock again. Daddy appears in the doorway of his office. We closed. Another knock. Daddy disappears into his office and returns with his Glock, his gun. He's not supposed to carry it since he's a felon, but he says that technically he doesn't carry it. He keeps it in his office. He looks out at the person on the other side of the door. What you want? I'm hungry, a guy says. Can I buy something? Daddy unlocks the door and holds it open. You got 5 minutes. Thanks, Devontae says as he comes in. His afro puff has become a full-blown afro. He has this wild look about him, and I don't mean because of his hair, but like in his eyes. They're puffy and red and darting around. He barely gives me a nod when he passes. Daddy waits at the cash register with his piece. Devontae glances outside. He looks at the chips, Fritos, Cheetos, and Doree. His voice trails off as he glances again. He notices me watching him and looks at the chips. Doritos. Your 5 minutes getting shorter, Daddy says. Damn, man, I ate. Devontae grabs a bag of Fritos. Can I get something to drink? Hurry up. Devontae goes to the refrigerators. I join Daddy at the cash register. It's so obvious that something's up. Devontae keeps stretching his neck to look outside. His 5 minutes pass at least 3 times. It doesn't take anybody that long to choose between Coke, Pepsi, or Faygo. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Vontae, Daddy motions him to the cash register. You trying to get the nerve to stick me up, or are you running from somebody? Hell nah, I ain't trying to stick you up. He takes out a wad of money and sets it on the counter. I'm paid, and I'm a king. I don't run from no damn body. No, you hide in stores, I say. He glares at me, but Daddy tells him, she right, you hiding from somebody. Kings or GDs? It's not those GDs from the park, is it, I ask? Why don't you mind your business, he snaps. You came in my daddy's business, so I am minding my business. Aye, Daddy says, but for real, who you hiding from? Devontae stares at his scuffed up chucks that are beyond the help of my cleaning kit. King, he mumbles. Kings or king, Daddy asks. King, Devontae repeats louder. He wants me to handle the dudes that killed my brother. I'm not trying to have that on me, though. Yeah, I heard about Dalvin, Daddy says. I'm sorry. What happened? We were at Big D's party. Pause there. Who else was at Big D's party? That's right. That was the big spring break party that Star and Khalil were at on that night where Khalil was shot. So Devontae's talking about, we were at Big D's party and some GDs stepped to him. They got into it and one of them cowards shot him in the back. Damn, that was the same party Khalil and I were at. Those were the gunshots that made us leave. Big Mav, how'd you get out of the game? Devontae asks. Daddy strokes his goatee, studying Devontae. The hard way, he eventually says. My daddy was a King Lord, Adonis Carter, a straight up OG. So the original. Yo, Devontae says, that's your pops, Big Don? Yep, biggest drug dealer the city ever seen. Yo, man, that's crazy. Devontae's seriously fangirling right now. I heard he had cops working for him and everything. He pulled in big money. I heard my granddaddy was so busy pulling in big money that he didn't have time for daddy. There are lots of pictures of daddy when he was younger, wearing mink coats, playing with expensive toys, flashing jewelry, and Grandpa Don isn't in any of the pictures. Probably so, Daddy says. I wouldn't know too much about that. He went to prison when I was 8. Been there ever since. I'm his only child, his son. Everybody expected me to pick up where he left off. I became a King Lord when I was 12. That was the only way to survive. Somebody was always coming at me because of my pops, but if I was a King Lord, I had folks to watch my back. Kinging became my life. I was down to die for it, say the word. He glances at me. Then I became a daddy. And I realized that King Lord wasn't worth dying for. I wanted out. But you know how the game work. It ain't as easy as saying you done. King was the crown. King was the crown and he was my boy, but he couldn't let me out like that. I was making good money too, and it was honestly hard to consider walking away from it. Yeah, King says you one of the best D-boys he ever knew, Devontae says. Daddy shrugs. I got it from my pops. But really, I was only good because I never got caught. One day, me and King took a trip to do a pickup, and we got busted. Cops wanted to know who the weapons belonged to. King had 2 strikes, and that charge would have meant life. I didn't have a record, so I took the charge and got a few years in probation. Loyal like a mother. So he went to jail for his gang. Those were the hardest 3 years of my life. Growing up, I was pissed at my daddy for going to prison and leaving me, and there I was in the same prison as him, missing out on my own babies' lives. Devontae's eyebrows meet. You were in prison with your pops? Daddy nods. All my life, people made him sound like a real king. You know what I'm saying? A legend. But he was a weak old man, regretting the time he missed with me. Realest thing he ever told me was, don't repeat my mistakes. Daddy looks at me again, and I was doing that. And I missed first days of school, all that. Had my baby wanted to call somebody else Daddy because I wasn't there. I look away. He knows how close Uncle Carlos and I became. I was officially done with the King Lord stuff, drug stuff, all of it, Daddy says. And since I took that charge, King agreed to let me out. It made those 3 years worth it. So for Mav going to jail, he was able to get out of the gang. So for 3 years away from his kids, he was able to give a better life to his kids in the end. It's a tough decision to make. Devontae's eyes dim like they do when he talks about his brother. You had to go to prison to get out? I'm the exception, not the rule, Daddy says. When people say it's for life, it's for life. You got to be willing to die in it or die for it. You want out? I don't want to go to prison. He didn't ask you that, I say. He asked if you wanted out. Devontae is quiet for a long time. He looks up at Daddy and says, I just want to be alive, man. Daddy strokes his goatee. He sighs. All right, I'll help you. But I promise, you go back to slinging or banging, you'll wish King would have got you when I'm done. You go to school? Yeah. What do your grades look like? Daddy asks. He shrugs. What's this? Daddy imitates Devontae's shrug. You know what grades you get? So what kind? I mean, I get A's and B's, Devontae says. I ain't dumb. All right, good. We gonna make sure you stay in school, too. Man, I can't go back to Garden Heights, Devontae says. All them King Lords up in there, you know that's a death wish, right? I ain't say you was going there. We'll figure something out. In the meantime, you can work here in the store. You been staying home at night? Nah. King got his boys watching for me over there. Of course you do, Daddy mumbles. We'll figure something out with that too. Star, show him how to do the price stickers. You're really hiring him just like that, I ask? Whose store is this, Star? Yours, but enough said. Show him how to do the price stickers. Devante snickers. I want to punch him in his throat. Come on, I mumble. We sit cross-legged in the chip aisle. Daddy locks the front door and goes back in his office. I grab a jumbo bag of hot Cheetos and slap a 99-cent sticker on them. You're supposed to show me how to do it, Devante says. I am showing you. Watch. I grab another bag. He leans real close over my shoulder. Too close. Breathing in my ear and stuff. I move my head and look at him. Do you mind? What's your problem with me, he asks. You caught an attitude yesterday as soon as I walked up. I ain't did nothing to you. I put a sticker on some Doritos. No, but you did it to Denasia and Kenya and who knows how many other girls in Garden Heights. Hold up, I ain't do nothing to Kenya. You asked for her number, didn't you, even though you're with Denasia? I'm not with Denasia. I just danced with her at that party, he says. She, the one who wanted to act like she was my girlfriend and got mad because I was talking to Kenya. If I would have been dealing with them, I could have, he swallows. I could have helped Dalvin. By the time I got to him, he was on the floor bleeding. All I could do was hold him. I see myself sitting in a pool of blood too, and try to tell him it would be okay, even though he knew, or even though you knew. There was no chance in hell it would be. We go quiet. I get one of those weird deja vu moments, though. I see myself sitting cross-legged like I am now, but I'm showing Khalil how to do the price stickers. We couldn't help Khalil with his situation before he died, but maybe we can help Devante. I hand him a bag of hot fries. I'm only going to explain how to use this price gun one time. You better pay attention. He grins. My attention's all yours, little mama. And remember, Star hates having nicknames like that. Later, when I'm supposed to be asleep, my mom tells my dad in the hallway, so he's hiding from King, and you think he should hide here? Devante, apparently Daddy couldn't figure it out, and decided that Devante should stay with us. Daddy dropped the two of us off a couple of hours ago before heading back to the store to protect it from the rioters. He just got back. He said our house is the one place King won't look for Devante. I had to do something, Daddy says. I understand that, and I know you think this is your do-over with Khalil. It ain't like that. Yeah, it is, she says softly. I get it, baby. I have a ton of regrets regarding Khalil myself, but this is dangerous for our family. It's just for now, Devante can't stay in Garden Heights. This neighborhood ain't good for him. Wait, it's not good for him, but it's fine for our kids? Come on, Lisa, it's late. I'm not trying to hear this right now. I've been at the store all night, and I've been up all night worried about you, worried about my babies being in this neighborhood. They fine. They ain't involved in none of that banging stuff. Mama scoffs. Yeah, so fine that I have to drive almost an hour to get them to a decent school, and God forbid Sakani wants to play outside. I gotta drive to my brother's house where I don't have to worry about him getting shot like his sister's best friend did. It's messed up that she couldn't mean either Khalil or Natasha. All right, let's say we move, Daddy said. Then what? We just like all the other sellouts who leave and turn their backs on the neighborhood. We can change stuff around here, but instead we run? That's what you want to teach our kids? I want my kids to enjoy life. I get it, Maverick. You want to help your people out. I do too. That's why I bust my butt every day at that clinic. But moving out of the neighborhood won't mean you're not real, and it won't mean you can't help this community. You need to figure out what's more important, your family or Garden Heights. I've already made my choice. What are you saying? I'm saying I'll do what I gotta do for my babies. There are footsteps, then a door closes. I stay up most of the night wondering what that means for them, us. Okay, yeah, they've talked about moving before, but they weren't arguing about it like this until after Khalil died. If they break up, it'll be one more thing 115 takes from me. Scary thought to think during scary times. We'll pause there as we're getting to the end of our 15 minutes. It's great to be finishing another chapter. As you know, it can be very difficult to read, getting through such a large book, especially at a distance. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Feel free to reach out with any questions. Remember to check out your For the Love of Reading or your Novel Study Lab projects. This Content from the Hate U Give is a great book to use for those projects, but also check out those links. If you're ready to watch the first 10 minutes of the video, that's there in your Dear message through Hero. So have a good day, guys. We'll be back for more reading again on Thursday.